if you are trying to be a minimalist and only buy essential items that you absolutely need and could not live without, these would be my top 7. Hi everyone, welcome to another video. If you're new here, I'm Skye and I'm a first-time mum to a beautiful baby girl who is now 12 months old. Throughout my channel, I discuss all things motherhood, so pregnancy, labor, birth, postpartum, and everything else in between. Majority of my videos, I'm just sort of sitting down, chatting. It's like you're sitting in the lounge room with a girlfriend, just talking about motherhood. So I give you some tips and tricks and things that I've learned along the way over the last 12 months, and also share some of my personal experience with certain topics as well. So I hope that you're able to get something out of today's video. I'm going to be sharing with you my top 7 must-have essentials as a first-time mum, as a minimalist. So basically, I tried to buy as minimal things as I could because I didn't want to buy things and regret them down the track, and also buy things that I was never going to use. So I tried to really think about things that I'm absolutely going to need. Now, I haven't included in this video, like a pram, a cot. Those are the things that majority of people are probably going to buy when you do have a baby, but the things that I've included are some things that maybe some of you might not know about, but these are also things I use every single day, especially at the beginning, and things that I could not live without. So I'm going to be sharing with you only 7 today, and I'm actually going to be putting them in order from things I use the absolute most to the least. A couple of things in this video that I'm going to be sharing, they are a little bit of a luxury, but for me personally, I use them every single day. I do not regret buying them, and they are also things that I will be able to keep pretty much forever. So if we are fortunate enough to have other kids, I will be able to use them again. So the first essential item that I absolutely could not live without, and I highly recommend you buying one if you are a first-time mum, and that is a breast pump. Now, this pretty much saved my breastfeeding journey, and honestly, I use this every 3 hours every single day for the first 3 months of my daughter's life, and I also continued using it for months on end. So I highly recommend getting a breast pump. I got the Medela one. It just seemed the one that most people sort of recommended and what those around me were buying. One thing I do regret, and that is I actually bought a single pump. So it can only connect into one, so I had to pump on one side first and then pump on the next side. So that is my regret. I wish I had bought a double pump because I do think that would have saved me, or I know it would have saved me so much time when I was pumping, trying to build my supply. So if you are considering getting a pump, I would highly suggest getting a double pump. It just is going to save you so much time. Now look, they are quite expensive, and especially the double pumps are more expensive, which is why I only bought a single one to start with, which I regret. But it is money well spent, and you can also sell them. So I wouldn't suggest selling the actual bottles, but you can actually sell the pump, and whoever you're selling it to can just go and buy these as an extra. So a really good investment. I highly suggest getting a double pump. Number 2, and that is, they're called big Softies, and it's basically just this. You can use it as a nappy if you want, or you can use it for what I used it for, and that is just to have as a burping cloth. I would have them everywhere around the house, in the bedroom, the baby's room, the couch, everywhere you can imagine. I had these because when you have, whether it be a poo explosion, a little spit up, or a big spit up, whatever it might be, these are they're life-changing. Sorry, they are so good. And I used to also use them when I was changing my daughter, especially when it was a poo, because sometimes it just goes everywhere, and rather than having to clean the change mat and all of that, I would just lay one of these down, put her on top, change it, And then it's so much easier just to wash this than it is to wash, you know, the changing mat and all of that. So I highly recommend these. You also can take them in the car with you in your nappy bag. These are just seriously a game changer, and they were $30 from Big W. So super cheap, and it's just so easy to sort of clean up mess rather than having, you know, spit up on you and vomit, all of that stuff. It's just, yeah, could not recommend these enough. The third thing that I could not live without, and that is sleep sacks. Now, I made a big mistake of taking a sleep sack off my daughter when she was around 6 or 7 months old, because it was a bit warmer, and I thought the sleep sacks that I've got, they're a bit hot. Let's just take the sleep sack off because maybe, you know, she can go without. Biggest regret ever, she did not sleep properly for weeks, and I did not realize why and what was happening. I thought she was maybe going through a change or a leak or whatever. Put the sleep sack back on her, and sleep has been a lot better ever since. So I highly recommend these. In the newborn days, I went with the Love to Dream swaddles with her hands up. And the other thing that I love about these is it's a zipper. So you literally, all you have to do is unzip it, put your baby in, zip it back up, and then you are done. It's so easy, and it's also easy to carry them. It's a bit hard to see without a baby in there, but you can kind of hold them up and whatever it is, carry them around the house. But it's so much easier to have a zipper, because for me personally, I just did not know how to swaddle, and when I did swaddle her, I thought she was nice and tight and snug, and she would move and she would come out of it, and then I'm trying to swaddle again. So I pretty much stopped swaddling after day 2, and I just went straight to a sleep sack, and yeah, they were game changers. So depending on your baby will depend on what type of sleep sack you're going to buy. My daughter was happy with her arms up to start with, which is why we went the Love to Dream. As she sort of got a little bit older, we actually went with the ergo ones, because then she can have her arms like this. And then as she got older again, we went with these ones where she can actually put her arms out. So you can get the ones which I've actually got here. I've got a few of them because I love them, but they've actually got the buttons. So I'm not sure if you can see that, but you can actually undo that. So then they can put their arms out of them once they've sort of progressed from going in to having their arms out. So I highly recommend getting a sleep sack because they were life-changing. Number 4 of essential items that I could not live without, and that is zipper onesies. I've kind of put this in 2 into 1, and that's also one onesie underneath. So these are the ones that have the buttons at the bottom. So these ones, and they are a full piece. The reason why I go these ones to go underneath the onesie rather than these singlets, and that is because I found these ones, they kept on riding up. So when I would change my daughter, I noticed that this singlet would be sort of up the very top, and it wasn't actually covering her tummy. So I then bought these longer onesies to go underneath her actual onesies. And the reason why these are so good, and that is because it is a zipper. Only ever get the zipper. You do not want to be undoing buttons and doing up buttons when you're trying to change a newborn. So I highly suggest getting a zipper onesie. What I also love about these ones is they have the feet that are already sort of inbuilt, and then they also have it with the arms. Majority of the onesies do, but make sure you get the ones that kind of fold over, so that way when their little hands are in there, you can cover them so they're nice and warm when they're sleeping. So yeah, zipper onesies all the way. It's all you need for the newborns, especially. You really do not need shorts and pants and this, that, and the other, because they really do just need sort of like a onesie. And you can get different thicknesses as well. This one's quite thick and a warm one, but depending on the the time of the year that you have your baby, just buy a thin one if you need to. But these are super easy and they're super comfy for your baby as well. The number 5 essential item, and that is a cozy sleeper or a co-sleeper. Now, I actually don't have it with me because I've lent it to a friend who had a bassinet, but her baby, outgrew it. So that is also the reason why I personally didn't go with a bassinet to start with. I went with a cozy co-sleeper. So I'll put some pictures up on the screen so you know what I'm talking about. But basically, it's a really big, it's a bigger version of a bassinet, and you can actually undo the sides so that when you are sleeping, they're next to you on the bed and you can pat them and they can smell you and you can feel them and all of that. It is incredible. My daughter actually used it up until she was 8 months old because she didn't grow out of it that quickly, which again, that's why I didn't buy a bassinet. The bassinets are really quite small. And for me personally, I wanted to get as much use out of the sleeper as I could before I transferred her into her cot. So yeah, I highly recommend getting a co-sleeper rather than a bassinet because I think you will get a lot more use out of it. So yeah, definitely suggest getting one of those over a bassinet. Now number 6, number 6 and number 7, the last two, they are a bit of a luxury. I do get this, and that is the baby born seat. Now, I love this. So a couple of things. Now, I didn't have one of those pillows that you kind of can carry around the house and have your baby in one of those. I know that they're quite popular and a lot of people use them. The reason why I went with this little seat and chair over the pillow, first of all, I wanted to buy as minimal things as I could. And second of all, I preferred getting this because it is a bit more of a seat. Now the babies are always laying down, and I just felt like it might have been nice for my daughter to be able to sort of sit up a little bit. Now this, I'm not talking in the early sort of, couple of days or weeks as she sort of, started to get that little bit older. I'm talking sort of maybe like around 4 weeks onwards, we would sort of put her in this, always supervised of course, but it was really nice because then she could sit up with us. So if we would have, just given her a feed, rather than having her lay down again, we would sort of put her in that. We would have her on the kitchen bench with us or in the lounge room, in the living area, wherever it might be, and she could kind of sit up with us and be amongst it when we're all kind of sitting down, hanging out as a family. The one thing that I also love about this is the cover actually comes off. So we of course had spit ups in there, we had poo explosions, we had everything going on in there, but you literally just take it off. I'm not gonna take it off now, but you can just take it off, put the whole thing in the washing machine and then just pop it back on again. So for me, this is really good value for money because I can't see this ever breaking, and you just wash it. You just put it in the wash and it looks like it's brand new again. So I know I'm going to get so much use out of this, if we do have other kids as well. And us personally, we use this every single day for months. Honestly, we only stopped using it as she started to get like a lot more mobile, but we loved it because you can strap them in. They're sitting up, they're part of it, especially at nighttime when we're sort of cooking and everything and having dinner. It's just so easy to have them sitting in this rather than sort of laying down, on a pillow or whatever it might be. So I know, and I absolutely understand that this is a luxury. You do not need the Baby Beyond one. You can just buy any kind of sitting up seat like this. But yeah, I highly recommend this. Now the last one, number 7, and that is a baby carrier. Now this one I absolutely loved. It's super comfy. It's pretty easy to assemble. It takes a little bit. It personally took me a little bit at the start, but once I got the hang of it, I really liked it. Now, for me personally, I use this more when my daughter was like a newborn, like really young. I didn't use it a lot as she got older because for me, I just use sort of the pram or I would just carry her if I had to. So this for me, I used it more in the early days. But again, similar to the chair, I know it is a luxury and they are, can be a little bit pricey, but there's so many that you can buy. And I just think that this is going to last forever. Like, it is going to last forever. You can also put it in the wash if you need to. And I thought as well, like, me and my partner, we plan on having more kids if we are fortunate enough to, and I think this would come in really good handy if we do have a second or a third, because I'll be able to strap the baby with me while I'm looking after my daughter and, you know, any other kids. So I really do suggest getting a baby carrier if you are able to, especially if you do have more than one kid. And again, I just feel like that this will last forever, and when I'm finished using it, I'll be able to give this to a friend or a family to use as well. So I think it's really good value for money because you will get a lot of use out of it. Well, there you have it, my 7 top essential items that I couldn't live without, especially in the newborn baby stage. So again, I just want to preface, I know the last 2 are luxuries and they can be a little bit pricey depending on what brand you go with, but they are things that we use very regularly, pretty much every single day. And I know that we're going to get so much more use out of them. There are so many, probably more things I could have added, but if you are trying to be a minimalist and only buy essential items that you absolutely need and could not live without, these would be my top 7. As I said at the beginning, I didn't include just your typical sort of items such as a pram or a cot, and, you know, a changing mat, a dresser, things like that, because they're kind of items that most parents are going to buy. But if you are a first-time mum and you have no idea what to buy, yeah, I hope this is going to help you. If you do like this video, please give it a thumbs up because it really will support my channel. And if you do want to subscribe, make sure you hit that button so you don't miss another video. I upload 1 new video at the moment every single week, so keep an eye out for next week's to come. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.